Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today is Wednesday, our follow-up video. And actually I am filming this on Sunday, March 22nd. You guys all saw the snowblower video on Saturday the 21st that I filmed on March 16th, and look at that. Most of that crap is gone. Yeah, we had 74 degrees yesterday. I have no idea what that is in the metric equivalent, because it doesn't matter in this country, but it was nice yesterday. Snow was melting very fast. There was a lot of snow out here, but we're heading over to the snowblower. It's 28 degrees right now. It's freaking cold. So we're gonna address some of the questions and comments from Saturday's video, but also address the question of the air filter. Yes, I'm curious if there's water in there, so we're going to address that. I've already put the snowblower over here kind of out of the way, pulled the battery. It's ready to sit for summer, but let's address the questions. All right, like I said, it's 28 degrees out here, so we're going to address this stuff pretty quick. If there is water in my oil filter here, it's going to be frozen. We'll find out real quick. So let's start in on the questions. Hi Josh, the loader started up great despite the cold, and the blower I thought might need some Cosby sauce, ether, but it went happily as well. Good batteries, and the TLC did the trick. Good to see another video of yours. I always enjoy them a lot. Thank you, and Mrs. Topper, for taking good care of you. So my wife, she does a very good job trying to keep me alive. I probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for her. I'd still be eating hot dogs every day. I survived a lot of years on hot dogs. Anyway, the ether question, or the need of, everything started great. Actually started really good. It was about 10 degrees out when I blew the snow. The problem I was having was my ignition switch. So as you can see, the location of this ignition switch, water can run down, and it's just a little switch like this. Water got in there and it froze, which I got it loose. But it's an old switch, so that's the back side of it. It's old, it's crusty, and you know, I cranked and it wasn't getting spark is what was going on. And I had it out. I even tried that a couple times, and then I twisted it. And that's when I saw the amp meter go to a minus. That meant the ignition was on. So that was the whole problem. Now, it's not going to do it right now because the battery is not there, but that worked very well. But I'm going to be replacing that switch with something maybe a little better, or maybe under the hood a little bit somewhere. Just better setup, because like I said, the water is an issue there. Same with the throttle and the choke, but we'll look at that next winter. All right, the next one, that Wisconsin V4 sounded even better under load. Yes, it does. This thing barks. It's so fun being in the cab of that loader and listening to that. Does the loader have a float mode, or is the snowblower, for lack of better term, forced downward? So the loader has power down and float. I pretty much leave it in float and then adjust my angle. And the skis that are, you saw me make in a different video, right on the ground, and you can change your pitch just a little bit that way. So if I want to dig in a little deeper, I just pitch it down further. If I want to leave more, I pitch it back. But it's pretty much in float. And it works really well that way. Very happy with the outcome of the way the blower works. It's very happy. That was an awful lot of snow, and I know of firsthand how annoying cleanup is. I do have a few questions that are more machine work related. So off topic, but I hope you, let's see, Super MAZ007, see this video and get your answers. What happens to milling machines and lathes if they are not used for a very long time? My reason for asking is all of these fellas that have these machines at their home but have not turned on the machine once the day they got them. Not sure what their intention is, but based on my experience, things will rust and oxidize over time and problems accumulate. I only have experience with Soviet milling machines, and let's say a lot will happen to things that sit unused for decades. Yeah, the longer they sit, the worse it is. The biggest thing that'll help it is a climate-controlled shop. keeping it in, heat and air conditioning, humidity down, going out and cranking the handles every once in a while, moving the lubricant around. But I will not own or buy a machine, well, especially not now. I'm not buying anything. But as far as milling, lathe machines, that kind of stuff, I won't own one that's been sitting in a unclimate-controlled building for any period of time, or one that's been outside under a tarp, especially one that's been outside under a tarp. I went and looked at a Kearney and Trecker 2D with the rotary milling, like Keith Rucker's got one. There's a couple other guys that have them. Love the things. I'd love to have one. It was sitting in the guy's driveway under a tarp. And I got there, we lifted the tarp, and I said, nope, not interested, walked away. Just like that. They're not worth it. Once they've been in a condition like that, I was hoping, he told me it'd only been out there for, a week. Okay, a week is maybe, could have done that, but no, he lied, and it was years it'd been sitting out there. It was bad. How's your take on these people that buy cheap milling equipment and then try to flip them for money? Honestly, I think it's everyone's personal thing if they do that. However, I'm seeing sellers that buy precision tools for less than scrap value and try to sell them for a price of a new quality tool, hoping to fetch some unsuspecting fella that will buy it for that money. Now my take is that if it's the same price, then would be buying it from the store. I can walk to the store with used precision tools. If they have not been calibrated and tested, it's a risk. As far as that goes, be well aware what you're going to buy. Go with the intention of checking it out thoroughly. If it's an old machine that's they're asking 20-30 grand for, that you could pick one up for $5,000 down the road, go with all your measuring tools and make sure you're buying something good. Don't buy junk. It's buyer beware. That's all I can say about that. All right, next question about the snowblower. How come you didn't zip over here to Alberta to clear my driveway while you had that monster out? I'd still be on the road. I'd still be bouncing down the road. That loader does about 25 miles an hour, but when you get 1,500 pounds hanging off the loader, boy, that'd be a fun ride. So, no, I'm not going to make it. Let's see. Good video. Any update on the Squatch rock crusher parts? This has been addressed many times. When we get to it, we'll get to it. Neither one of us are in a hurry. When I put out a video, you will know it. Old iron going strong. My respect for the iron and you, Josh. I wonder how you are doing with your job. Greetings from the Netherlands. I'm loving the new job. In fact, I went back to Ohio for the next level of training and passed my authorized inspector test. And I'm doing the on-the-job training for that to get my authorized inspector commission. Quite honestly, I wish I would have closed up shop years ago and done this instead. I really do. This has been one of the smartest moves I think I've made in a long time. So yes, I'm very much enjoying the new job. Good job on the snow. Have you done any work on Squatch's flywheels yet? No. When I get to it, you'll know. Does anyone know the name of the song playing after the song quit? So both songs in that video were ones that I created. I wrote all the lyrics for the one that was when the microphone quit, and just utilize the AI to create the melody. So it is, I had a lot of time into that one, just thinking and trying to get it, and then the AI only changed a few words to make it flow better, and then added the song behind it, the instruments and everything. But that one was me, and the other one, the ending is totally AI that I just inputted a lot of data to get what I wanted, the Too Dumb to Quit. So I think that addressed pretty much all the questions, the good questions, anything that was not addressed otherwise. And I'm freezing my ass off out here, so let's get this air filter open and see what we got. Well, there's the answer. That's milk. So yes, the water is definitely getting into that, sucking up into the air cleaner. So that is the answer. Well, I'm going to go dump this out into one of my waste oil buckets and just put the cup back on empty so that at least it'll, you know, mice and stuff can't get in. Well, that was interesting. I did not expect to see the milk in there. So that definitely answered that. So those of you who suggested that in a previous video, spot on, good call. And those of you wondering what's coming, there is going to be Saturday a machining video. We did get a little bit there. And then we got that. And that's not all of it. There's more back up by the Dragline. We got an entire semi-load of white pine here that is all going to get cut up. So I got to get the mill ready. I just spent an hour yesterday moving these logs over and getting them on the skidway, but we got to go over and get the Super M going, get the F12 going. I got the air compressor in there too, in the lean-to. Actually got quite a bit of stuff tucked away in there. And it worked out really well. I got a couple of horse-drawn plows here for behind the F12, so we're going to play with that at some point this year. But I think an oil change on the Super M is coming due, probably on the F12, and then we'll get the mill going for the first time this year, but it'll probably be a little while yet. I got a lot of other videos that I've been working on and shooting, so we're getting close to getting some videos out. But Saturday will be a video of boring out some big sprockets, and then it might be every other week after that, because the snowblower video kind of jumped in there on me and unexpectedly. And don't forget, when it comes to the videos I got putting out, don't forget that big pile of lumber over there is for the rafters over here. So yeah, I've got that going too. So I hope you enjoyed this follow-up video answering those questions. If there's other questions, ask them in the comment section. Happy to answer them. I always save the questions on the main video for the follow-up video, because I think I can address them a little better than just typing it out. And I know several of you will agree with that. I've had a lot of comments on these follow-up videos of how much you like that, the way I do that. In fact, there, you can see the rest of the logs. There's quite a few there. So we're going to have some fun sawing this year. But, well, with that, thanks for watching, and stay tuned. Lots of fun stuff coming. And until next time, get out in your shop and get it done right the first time.
Too dumb to quit, too proud to cry, still grinding steel under a fading sky. The last machine shop in a frozen hell, just me and a dream I can't seem to sell. Too dumb to quit, too stubborn to die.